like after, like 4 years or something, like I did start feeling like, wow, yeah, you don't have a lot of influence. Like, often you're just like a piece in this like, world of how things are happening. And you also learn, I think like what they don't teach at uni, like I studied in Amsterdam. It's just like that sort of system that in a way, like how fashion operates is very out of necessity sometimes. Like it's not really well thought of, like, hey, how can this work for everyone? I did think like, I think we need to do better. Like that really bothered me. I was like, we do, even if you have very little resources or if you're a massive giant, I was like, why aren't we doing more? Like, why are we wasting things? So I didn't see like everyone sort of on the same wavelength of like, hey, reuse, reduce, recycle. So it did bother me. Or like sometimes the choices of materials, people not thinking, oh, hang on a minute, this is like super plastic, super, oil-based polluting. Like, so I mean the first principle when you like have no resources is basically just to work with what is already there. So what it exists, the famous dead stock that we all know. But well, I don't like overproduce stock, so perhaps it's a model that can work. And if I keep it like kind of made to order basis, then, or if I just stick to materials that I think I could find again from another like mill and another end of roll, perhaps that could be a way to start. So that's how I started. It was all dead stock basically. I think funny enough, when you think you have no like influence or anything, actually it's more than you think. Like what I've noticed as well is like as a small player, because you make all the decisions. So there's no excuse not to try things basically. And we have that advantage as a small business that you can pivot. So you can say, okay, this next collection is going to be about this, and let's just take this risk. I'm going to work with cork, I'm going to work with hemp and linen, and because you keep it small, there's no risk. Like we're not making thousands of garments, so because that pressure is kind of gone, and that makes you more malleable. So I really think that we just have to. It's our responsibility, because at the end of the day, like if there's no purpose or like need really to make more product, to put products out there, like really the most sustainable thing you can do is like just don't, so there has to be a reason behind it. And I think that makes us responsible for what we utilize, whether it's the resources from the earth or whatever it is that you do, but then you have to put it back somehow and then process it. So that education and making that available is our responsibility. So last year I also did like this online workshop on like Black Friday, just to educate people on greenwashing, because it's really, really hard. Like I also don't want to, shame a brand and say, oh, don't buy this brand. But I think when people know more, they can make a more informed decision. It's like with our food, if you know, and then if you're still buying that knowing, that's on you, so I think the more we know and we have that knowledge, and we can give that knowledge as well, then people can just make up their mind. It's better to really put out there what needs to be out there. Like, of course, it's not as simple as it sounds. Like, I understand that because I've worked for bigger brands. Like, once I worked for Burberry showroom, like, I understand the machine that those companies are machines. But I feel like there needs to be that shift at like at a business model level. Like, we don't need to make like that much profit. Like, I think the profit comes eventually, but we just have to slow down in that sense. We have to slow down. We have to be more mindful of what's putting out there, and also prioritize the quality of our supply chain, like the quality of the life of the people in that supply chain, and tracing all the way back.